We are live. It is 2:07 Central Standard Time in the United States, 8:07 BST in the UK. This is the Nomad Tech Project with Sam and Joe.
Hey.
Coming to you live the 31st day of August, 2025. Sorry we're a few minutes late. I mean, we never go exactly on time, but we're
never
a couple of moments later than we normally are. So apologize for all the folks who are kind of sitting in the chat, waiting for us to start. All four of you or two of you or whomever, that's cool. Hopefully Joe's sending out the Twix notification thing. And then hopefully if the YouTube thing is working, maybe it actually told you we're going live. Probably so. I don't know.
Hopefully.
Anyway, yeah. So we got a lot to talk about. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world of the phones. Obviously, we've got the new iPhone stuff coming up. We just had the people now have had their Pixel 10 series phones now for a couple of weeks, and we're starting to hear the 72-hour, 1 week kind of stuff going on. I mean, here's the thing. It's become almost kind of patterned and almost kind of like cyclical how these things are going, right? You know exactly what, first of all, you never know whenever an embargo lifts, you know exactly what time that is, because if you're like me and like Joe, you're following all these people and all of a sudden your YouTube just goes boom,
notifications popping off. Yeah.
I mean, you just get notification after notification, right? So that's kind of cool. Also, keynotes, can we just have we kind of all decided that keynotes are just kind of, unless you're at the keynote, being involved in it because they've asked you to go to Cupertino or Google I/O or whatever, or do they even do Microsoft Build anymore? I don't even know if they do. I'm sure they probably do.
Well, they must do, yeah.
But they're not in the mobile space, so nobody here that is watching this or we follow is probably going to Microsoft Build. But anyway, can we just kind of agree that they suck? Like this one sucked. This whole Jimmy Fallon. First of all, I don't care if he's listening. If Jimmy Fallon's, I don't think Jimmy Fallon's funny. I don't really like his show. I don't like any of those late night talk shows. I just don't. I don't think they're very fun. First of all, I'm not staying up that late to watch any of that stuff. And Jimmy Fallon, I don't think he's funny, but he's not annoying. I could watch his show and he has people on. He seems like a decent guy. Jimmy Kimmel's an asshole. I don't like that dude at all. I think Jimmy Kimmel's not funny. I think he is just a jerk. And I kind of just ain't feeling that dude. Stephen Colbert's okay. I think he was a lot funnier when he was actually with the Daily Show and all that kind of stuff. He's all right. It just, be that as it may, I didn't like the format of the Google event. And also too, it's like they leaked everything. I mean, did you really need to watch
Google
it? I mean, yeah,
leak.
Yeah, they left. And now again, they didn't really do the whole MagSafe or what's it called, Pixel Connect. I don't even know.
Pixel Snap.
Pixel Snap. Yeah, that's cool. And I get it. Cool. And everybody's like, well, you know, Google steals Apple stuff, then Apple steals Google stuff. It's like
they were stealing from each other, man. It's like,
but they're trying to give people want MagSafe essential connections, or at least if they don't know they need it, they probably should know it's available. And it's finally time that they have some kind of a MagSafe thing, because it does help having peripherals. You can stick a wallet, put a charging pad, even if you're not a person who charges that way with MagSafe or Pixel Snap. It's nice because you can, but also if like you have a car mount right now, if you have a good car mount, instead of having one that like I've got where you take the phone, actually physically holds the phone, right? You got the Snap one now. You can just basically put it on there, and not only is it charging it, but it should hold so that we don't have to, it gives you some flexibility, and it's kind of cool. The fact that but at some point, all these companies, they're going to all have the same kind of thing. They're all kind of slowly converging into phones that have screens, phones that have battery tech that's good, phones that have AI capability, recording video, augmenting video, doing searches, circle to search, MagSafe, wireless charging, but there's still some things they're missing, like, a video output on an iPhone. Maybe that never comes. I don't know. But they're all kind of, these are things that consumers want in their phones. So of course, they're going to have to start to kind of meet in the middle. There are things that consumers want: good battery life, bright screens, ones that can read outside, have decent durability, that they don't have to replace every year because they're out of support kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So that's where the 7 years of support comes in. That's where no headphone jack comes in. That's where no expandable storage comes in, right? That's where these things are. Can we just admit that the shows themselves just aren't really that necessary unless you're going to the show. Like if you're going to Unpacked and you're there and you're touching stuff and you get to take videos of it so you can tell everybody about it, I guess that's cool. But
Yeah.
as a person who isn't doing that, I cannot remember the last time I watched a keynote from start to finish.
What I will say is I agree in the sense that actually the catch ups or where they do it all in one, like I can't think what it's called now. You know what I'm talking about when they the highlights reels of these said events. They're always really, really good. Like nice and bite sized. This is what happened. But the actual event can be quite lengthy, can't it?
Right.
Like,
And
get to the point. Get to the point.
Right. They have to just kind of get this, they got to fill an hour, and then it's like, people just want, well, I think, and I don't think that's really just like a creator kind of thing or a tech enthusiast. I think everybody just wants to like, dude, just listen. But here's the thing. Nobody who's just a user is watching these.
No.
The only people who are watching these live stream. Maybe more Apple normal users would watch those. But I don't think anybody else is. Yeah, I don't think anybody's watching these. It's tech enthusiasts, tech community, tech influencers, tech journalists. Fine, they got to write about stuff. That's cool, and I get it. I just, at the end of the day, yeah, we had events. The phones are out now, and we're back to this whole, again. I get it. There has to be people that want to kind of bash on it, but I think the Pixel 10 series looks perfectly fine. Yeah, it's still using a tensor. Well, you knew that was coming. I think a lot of people believe that a TSMC built tensor was going to be this magical thing. It's like all of a sudden now it's just going to lock the phone and it's going to be just as good as a Bionic chip. No, it's not. That's not it. I don't.
Google aren't trying to be Samsung. They're not trying to do what they're doing. I think people need to start realizing that.
Well, especially from like a horsepower and performance perspective, like they're just not trying to do that, right?
That's not their market. That's not who they're going for. They're not going for gamers on phones. They're going for your everyday person. Now, I love that Best Take is automatic now. So every picture you take of your friends, in fact, it's going to have them all smiling. Happy days. This is what people want. Google is smart.
Exactly. Man. So, right. And like I said, and yes, welcome to the show. And yes, I do like the Pixel 10. If it were available on AT&T, I might have upgraded to the Pixel 10 Pro Fold. I've realized that I don't really, I'm in the foldable life. I'm a foldable guy, and that's what it is. And I did my bet, but I had the Pixel 9 Pro XL, and I love the phone. Still have it. I gave it to my daughter, which is another a funny story real quick. AT&T screwed up. It's actually currently on a blacklist because when I went to trade, so I had the 9 Pro XL.
Yeah.
My daughter had a Pixel 6.
Yeah.
I upgraded the line, right, to the 7 Fold.
Yep.
However, instead of giving them the 9 Pro XL, I gave that to Kaylin. And then I took her 6 and used the 6 as the trade-in.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what they did? When they sent the phone off to AT&T on the trade-in receipt, they put 9 Pro Full XL.
Dickheads.
So what happened was as soon as it hit their distribution center, they blacklisted the phone because that's what they do.
That's
so now
that's
the pit. Now I said, well, they didn't get that phone. Well, it takes them up to a week to 10 days to actually open the box, look inside what you actually sent, and then what they'll do is they will. Because what happened was Cameron was using the phone one day and all of a sudden it got blocked. The line got suspended. Like, what the hell is that about? And then I found out after being on, and I'm talking 3 hours on the phone with AT&T and being through multiple people. Basically, what they did was they blacklisted the wrong device. They actually, AT&T takes the trade-in receipt, whatever on that, they blacklist that IMEI. As soon as they get the package, they blacklist it. Then it takes a week for them to actually open the box, look and go, oh, that's a Pixel 6. Then they're going to blacklist that, and they're supposed to remove the blacklist. But in the meantime, Kaylin can't use the phone. Luckily, she's using the Wing because that's the only phone I have. Because every time they won't unblacklist the device, even though they know they screwed up the trade-in.
So how are they compensating you, Sam?
They're not.
Because no, come on.
They're not. They basically said tough shit. And what I have to do is
no, that's not on. That is not on.
Well, then I went down to the store. So the first time I unsuspended it, I said, hey, is this going to get resuspended? They said, no, don't worry. You need to go down to the store and tell them what's going on. So I did. I went to the store.
Yeah.
where they actually did the trade-in, and I told them what they screwed up, and they said, no problem, we'll take care of it. And I said, in the meantime, while you're looking this out, is she going to be able to use this Pixel? Yeah, know what? Next day, they suspended it again and had to get back on the phone with them on a Friday. And I said, well, how am I supposed to know when this phone gets off the blacklist? Well, the only way is to call them and check the IMEI through them. Because if you go on these websites to do IMEI checkers, I don't know if anybody uses those. They don't work because every IMEI checker I use says that phone is clean. It is not. That phone is blacklisted.
Yeah,
that
it's
IMEI
network
is
listed. It's network listed from their end. That's why.
Right. So at the end of the day, I'm like, okay, so now I haven't. So basically, I'm just going to basically call every other day or so. But right now, Kalen has the 9 Pro.
Out of interest, have you tried a SIM from a different network?
I don't. Yeah. No, I haven't. It's locked to AT&T.
Oh, the devices are
right, because I'm still paying on the device because I gave it to Kalen.
That's not a thing in the UK.
Right. So anyway, right. Anyway, so that's another story. Man. Oh, dude, I was so pissed off. You need to go in that store
and put a Karen wig on and be a Karen because that's not on, mate. That is
right. Well,
not on.
What I should tell them is, okay, well, that's fine. Here's the 9 Pro XL. You're going to give me another 9 Pro XL off the shelf. Yeah. Right? I'm going to take that, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to switch her phone out, and then I'm going to go ahead and give you this 9 Pro XL. I don't care if they blacklisted, whitelisted, fucking throw it in the bin. I don't give a shit what they do. I don't give a fuck anymore. They owe me a phone for all this bullshit, and I'm not paying on it. It's just stupid. They completely screwed it all up, and it's
their mistake. Because
it's basic. And to be fair, the only thing I had in this is when I will do this from now if I ever do this, which I probably won't, because after this experience, I'm like, fuck it, I'm done. But next time before I leave the store, I make sure that on the trade, now that I know their procedure, now that I know, because they never tell you how they handle trade-ins there. They never tell you what the mechanisms on the trade-ins on how they handle phones and all that kind of stuff. Right. Make sure that when the phone that I actually traded in is what's on the trade-in receipt. Because if I'd looked, I would have saw that there was a discrepancy. I would have said, this is not the 9 Pro XL.
It was resolved there.
Well, then it would have been fine because they would have got the Pixel 6. That would have been on the trade-in receipt, and I don't give a shit. And then they would have never messed with Kaylin's 9 Pro XL, and she'd be able to use it. You know, it's a shame because she loves the thing. Coming from the 6 to 9, she thinks status is great, and she had it for about a week, about 8 days, and now she's stuck using a Wing essentially because that's the only device I had.
It's a fun device, though.
It's a fun device, and she isn't going to complain. It's been basically AT&T shit the bed and screwed up, and it just sucks.
Yeah,
and that's another. And I know if Sean were listening, he'd be like, another reason why to get rid of that bullshit. And that might be the thing that causes me to get rid of AT&T.
I mean, that's a human error, but it's how they rectify that human error, which is the thing that annoys me.
Right. They don't rectify it.
Even when you went into the store, they should have been like, oh, I'm really sorry, and tried to resolve it.
Well, they did. And they just told me that don't worry, that while we're working on getting this resolved, they will not. Here's the thing. I don't care if they take 2 weeks to open that box or never. I don't get, as long as they get the credit for the trade-in, and then they don't suspend my daughter's line. Yeah. And so what I did was so here's the funnier part real quick, and then we'll get off this topic. So when a guy was on the phone, he's like, basically, we can't unblacklist it. It's tough luck. And I said, well, you can't unsuspend the line, right? He goes, yeah, but if your SIM is in the phone, it'll see it's a blacklist device. It'll resuspend the line. I said, I'm aware of that. However, if I put it into a different clean phone, it won't, right? The guy goes, right. I said, so what you're going to do is you're going to unsuspend the phone. So I went on the way home. I picked up the phone from Kaylin. I stripped the SIM out of it, turned the phone off, and put it in the Wing. So that way it would send that IMEI to their network. And so that way it wouldn't suspend her phone. Yeah. So that's all the shit I had to go through. It's ridiculous. Anyway,
you should have put some credits on your account. That's what should have happened.
I'm gonna go down to the store and we're gonna have a talk about that. But honestly, I was so aggravated on Friday. I was ready to fight somebody. Somebody was gonna catch hands. That's how pissed off. Well, first of all, I was at work trying to be in meetings and be on the phone, and they had me on the phone for 3 fucking hours while they try to create a case and resolve them. Like, be that as it may. Anyway, enough of that.
You feel like saying, just call me back, will you? Like, I don't need to be on the end of the line.
Right. I basically, and the other day I called, I gave the guy the IMEI. He goes, oh, well, it looks like it's still blacklisted, but sir, we can talk about making a case. And I just hung up. You told me what I need to know. Bye. Hey, it's Chris from the Honor event.
Yeah. He's a very good writer, actually. He writes reviews on devices. We'll have to put a link in the show note. We'll have to get Chris on as a guest one day.
Absolutely. If Chris is willing to come on and donate a life of his life, hour of his life, he's never going to get back to come hang out with us. That's cool.
He's a good chap.
Do I think Apple will ever make yeah, absolutely. They're going to make a foldable. They might make both. Because I'll tell you right now, this is the first year I've ever seen any kind of like media, TikTok, social media, buzz, videos about people who are Apple. And it started, I made the comment last year when they kind of just basically bring out the 16. It was like, nah, people like they're getting, Apple people are getting frustrated that Apple's doing nothing to push the boundaries of that phone. It's the same goddamn phone every year, which is funny. All of a sudden, now they've decided that's a problem. It's been going on forever, but whatever. But this is the first year I've seen people online looking at folds, and well, flips mostly, 7 Flip, right? But people who are really Apple people going, at least Samsung's trying to do something else. They're offering different form factors, and I think Apple's finally going to try it. I don't know if it's going to be next. They may announce next year that they're going to try, and maybe that's a phone for 2027. But I think I think a Flip is going to be good. I think they're going to do both.
I think in the US market, there's no rush for them, right? But in Asia and Europe, I think people are moving to flips and folds. More
right. I think they're at least available as a possible. Yeah. It's just for them, it might be new. And it's like, and they've tried new stuff. I think they've realized after 7 or 8 years of foldable, flippable phones from Samsung, and Honor's doing them, and Motorola has their flips, the Razors and stuff. I think they will. Is it going to be next year? Doubt it. It's probably going to be 2027 on the iPhone 19 fold or whatever they're going to call it. But yeah, I think they're going to do it. And Jimmy with the £5 pound donation.
I was just responding to that.
Yeah,
we really need to sort like the PayPal thing out, because we got to contact Lenny to get some dough.
And plus, we won't get £5. We only get like £3 of this.
Yeah, YouTube takes a chunk out. Jimmy, we love it. We absolutely love you and adore you for giving us the super chats, but please stop doing it for now. We'll, if you want to in the future, we'll give you an alternative route.
We got to do a PayPal or like a cup of coffee or whatever. Yeah, Steve literally used to do that. A cup of coffee.
PayPal me type thing. We'll set up for you, Sam, though, because I've got one, and but you financially you've paid out a lot more for this, so I like the money to go to you.
That's fine. But Jimmy, thanks for the quid. But until we get to, and we're going to, we keep saying every show, it's almost become like a broken record. But it's on our action item list. We have action items, and it's always on the list.
But we keep forgetting to look at that list.
And then what happens is our life goes on, and we go. Jimmy, Joe goes to work, I go to work, and then we come back Sunday, and then you do the chat, and we're like, oh shit, yeah, we need to do this.
Yeah. We said we were going to do this. Oh, yeah, we didn't do that.
Yeah, we didn't do that because we're lame.
Well, thank you, Jimmy. We love you, mate.
We love you. Yeah, thank you, man. So appreciate that. So
going back to Google quickly, Sam. Right? I know you said it was boring and everything.
Well, the event. It wasn't my jam. That's all.
There is some good stuff there. So, like, I like the best take thing. I think that's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, the features of the Pixel Snap, the best take, the features that you could have just given me in a spreadsheet or a 1-page, or you could have given a PowerPoint presentation. I could have taken all.
Could have been a YouTube short.
Right, it could have been like 3 minutes of like, hey man, here's best take. Hey man, here's Pixel Snap, you can snap shit, right? MagSafe, right? That kind of stuff. But the actual format was like.
So the other thing I really like is the actual 100x zoom. Now, obviously, it's still a bit pants. You wouldn't use it, but it is actually pretty good for 100x zoom. That super res. What the algorithm, what it's doing in the background, is really clever. I mean, it's more. I wouldn't say it's photography as such because it's so AI driven. But you get some nice results. Honestly, Mac was testing it because he's got the Pixel already.
Mm-hmm.
And I was quite impressed. I got to say, they've done well with that 100x.
Yeah, I think so too. So
yeah.
I mean, it's but I don't understand why people. I mean, I understand that if a Pixel isn't your thing, if you like Samsung because you feel that one UI is more mature, that's cool. I just don't. I don't understand why people are just absolutely go after these phone brands. I'm just like, okay. If you're a Samsung Knight, or if you're into Honor, or even if you're iPhone, whatever it is, because you don't like the Pixel, and maybe and there's things like can we please be allowed to change the icon pack, please? without having to put a third-party launcher. I don't want to put a third-party launcher. The Pixel experience is fine.
I'd love all brands to do that.
Yeah, it's like, can we stop doing that? Also, give people the customizations that they get on every other Android device. Like, don't lock the search bar to the home screen.
Yeah.
Let me change the widget at the top, the weather. Like, let me get rid of that, or change it, or move it, or something. But it's just like they have these weird lockdowns. Like, I don't understand that. That's the only part about if Pixel allowed those things, I would probably just, I don't think I would ever. I think I'm just keep using a Pixel.
It's a good comment that we could get into, right? Genuinely interested as why you would buy the Pixel over the S25 Ultra. I can be on both sides of that fence, man.
So we're gonna talk honor in a minute because Joe's got some honor stuff because we're gonna get there. So Chris, 100%. I did not miss this. Why do some people compare Steve Jobs to Thomas Edison or Isaac Newton? Well, it's like Elon Musk, right? It's there are people who. And I've talked to people, and this is not okay. Before I start down this rant or path, I have to kind of I have to level set some expectations here. God, that sounds so corporate, but whatever. Okay. One, this isn't about Tesla. This is about the answer to A's question. Two, I'm not buying a Tesla, and has nothing to do with Elon Musk. I don't give two fucking shits about that guy. Bet, right? However, it seems to me that I did have a person that I knew I used to work with. She's moved on to another company who bought a Tesla, and she likes the car, and it's cool. Like, I get it. But man, she was like and this was a few years ago. So this is before the whole Doge and all that stuff. So maybe that's changed some people's perspectives on this. I don't know. But she talked about Elon Musk like he was some kind of visionary. Like, it's almost like it was so like cringy. It was cringy to me. Like, I understand that you're into people, and Steve Jobs, yeah, had a lot of good ideas, and he obviously started Apple, and clearly, obviously he got sick and he's passed now, so he's not around. And clearly, it's like any other company, right? Well, Tim Cook's not doing well. He's not Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs is and he's dead, so you can't do anything about it. And he's going to run the company maybe from a more business perspective, and he doesn't have the historical background. Steve Jobs started Apple. You've seen it, right? You've watched the movies. You know the histories behind it, right? It's different when somebody like Tim Cook comes in, or any of the other guys, the Ivy guy or whatever. They're not. They didn't. It's not their baby, And so why do people do it? Because a lot of people, the people who do that, have never met Steve Jobs. Most of the people who idolize these people actually never had conversations with these people. They've never met them in person. No. It's a persona online. Even if that persona is exactly how they are in real life, they're idolizing somebody they've never met.
I mean, humans like to idolize things, right?
Right.
That's what we do.
Right. So I don't know why they do. I think it's just because it gives them something to do. I don't idolize Steve Jobs. I think he did a good job, but I also heard he's a complete asshole. And I'll tell you right now, if I worked for Apple and I was trying to do all this work and Steve Jobs would come in here and talk to me like I'm somebody's stepchild, I'd probably put hands on the guy. Right. I don't give a shit who you are. I don't care how smart you are. You come in here and dress me down like I'm some fine 5-year-old. You're going to say a bunch of nasty shit to me and be a disrespectful jackoff. I'm going to throw you out of a fucking window. Like, that's what I'm going to do. Right. Or smack you upside the head, or at least say like, hey man, you can't talk. Who the fuck are you? I don't care who you are. Yeah, you're the CEO of this company. You can fire me, but I don't care. I'll go work for somebody else. I'll go work for Google. I work this tech. But for him to sit there and just dress people down and like, I don't.
Well, is that what people will say about him?
Oh yeah, they said he was. Watch the guy who does Shark Tank. I can't remember the guy's name. Kevin something. And he said he worked for Steve. He was a complete asshole. Like, he would just come in and just yell at people, scream at people, threaten people, make them work 90 hours a week. I'm like, okay, that's fine if you want to do all that, but and I get it. People
really
usually
should idolize.
it seems like people who are that gifted intellectually or visionaries, like, they usually lack people skills, right? They don't understand. It's usually the trade-off, right? Genius, right? Yeah. They kind of don't really know how to talk to people. And I've talked to people who are very, very intelligent, academic people, and they just cannot carry a conversation. They're not even rude. They just are awkward in conversation. They don't understand social cues really well. They just, right? Kevin O'Leary, that's the guy. He basically says that Steve Jobs is a cocksucker. I mean, he didn't care how smart he was. He basically wanted to smack him upside his head because he was a complete shithead and he was just yelling at people and just a general not nice guy. And I would much rather work for. So why people idolize people? I don't know. I mean, who knows, man? I don't get it. It's not my thing. But I mean, Steve Jobs did a good job. I mean, he created Apple, and I mean, as we can clearly see, Apple is a highly successful company. It's the top smartphone manufacturer in the United States. So clearly, how you get there, I don't think that I would do that. But that's why I'm not. Usually, highly successful business type kind of people, they have to be that kind of way. They have to be cutthroat and aggressive and belligerent and superficial and, you know, self-absorbed. They have to be an egomaniac. Yeah.
To be top of your game in sport, you need to have a certain amount of arrogance.
Right. And almost to the point of ego, like beyond ego, right?
Yeah.
And I get it. So that's probably what it is. But, I recognize the fact that he did a good job, but I don't idolize anybody. Like in that regard. Why people do? No, I didn't. Not a Steve Jobs. No. So it's good.
Let's get into that though. So Sam, if you was picking between a Pixel 10 XL right now or an S25 Ultra, where would you sit? Because Andrew Walker's generally interested as to why you'd pick Pixel. Would you pick Pixel? And if so, why?
Oh man,
I could argue for either. I could give you an argument for either.
And I don't know if I can argue for either. The problem is the last Ultra I used was the S22. And this is actually my first Sam's. Well, no, I take that back. I had the Fold 5, but I didn't have an Ultra series phone. The last one I had was a 22. I really liked the 22. I actually kind of like the design of the S20. I like the Note 20. I kind of liked, you know, if you were asking me, which would you have? I think I would have to go Pixel 10.
See, I would be torn.
I would be torn. And it's not like yarding away, like no chance I would ever. I would honestly, if I picked either, I would want to have either. Right? You know, I would go back and forth. Right.
I can tell you reasons though. Let me answer the question. Let's answer the question. I'll tell you reasons. The more simplistic UI does appeal to people because one UI is brilliant. I love it, but it's quite heavy for some people.
And there's way more options. It's almost overwhelming in all the stuff you can do on a
So Pixel's more simplistic. So that's one really good reason.
Right.
Some of the Pixel features are, I know Samsung do them, but they just seem more intuitive and easier. Like the now playing in the background.
Oh, yeah. Feature. It's on the lock screen. It's just, it's great. I love now playing. It's one of my favorite. And I'm not even a huge music guy, but that feature is just the way they handle it in the UI and how it's working is just, it's awesome. I think it's way better than how anybody else does it.
See, based on price and specs, I see where Andrew's coming from here. Definitely on paper, I would say I'd take the S25 Ultra, but it's the Pixel experience and what it offers. Like, if you think about one of the new things is best take, having your family and friends all smiling in every picture. That's a beautiful feature, right? So these are the lifestyle things Pixel have got, which may make people pick that over S25 Ultra.
Right. On
the spec sheet, Andrew's right. S25 Ultra is the one. But yeah, it's
right. And like I said, I mean, it'd be different, but if I had used an S24 Ultra and a 9 Pro XL, and like, okay, I'd use them both, kind of like. And here's the funny thing. So now that I've got back to the Fold 7, they gave you still have the one from the Snapdragon one, which it looks like a brilliant phone, right? That Snapdragon one was.
No, my S24 Ultra I've got now is my work one.
Oh, I thought didn't you? What happened? Was it which one is the Snapdragon one? Oh, they took it back. We had to send it back.
No, I didn't take it back. I've still got it.
Cool. Somewhere. You can keep it. So again, based on specs and price, and I mean but also too is, I've gotten now that I've gotten the Fold 7, I've kind of gotten back into Samsung and all the things I really kind of liked about it, and I like the features more, and that's what it is. It's kind of like I like. First of all, and I have used the text. Although I found it interesting, and I don't know if maybe I didn't, and it's possible I didn't set this up right. It's possible, but like, okay, so if you're using the phone and a call comes in, you get the drop down, the banner, right? Comes in.
Yeah.
It says you have an incoming call. And when I had it on my Pixel, the banner had decline, take, and then the middle button said it was a screen call, right? It was always in the banner.
Yeah.
Right. On Samsung, it's not. If I'm looking at my phone, I get the banner. All I can do.
No, it's AI assistant or something, and then it goes to text call.
I don't know. What I have to do is I have to actually I click the banner that brings me to the phone app. Then the text message is in the middle.
It's an extra step.
It's in the dialer. Yeah, it's an extra step. What I liked about the Pixel was I could get the screen call directly from the banner. It would just go right to screen call and it would kick right into it. This, and again, before everybody goes fucking ape shit and burns me in the chat, says you don't want to set your phone up. That's clearly possible. I don't know. All I know is there might be a way to change that. And if there is, if somebody can tell me, because I'm not going to research it, again, it's not that big of a deal. I just notice there's little things like that when it comes to experiences that push me to Pixel. But then I start using the Samsung and I go, the camera hardware is a lot better. There are things on the One UI, like, I don't know, good lock. I can change my goddamn, the thing. Yeah, there's things like that. They kind of go back and forth.
Another good feature of the new Pixel is that AI assistant with the camera.
Right.
For people who don't take pictures often, they're not great with photography, having that assistant helping you frame your shot, that's fantastic, man.
Right. And so if you're asking me, I would say, but then I could put the OnePlus 13 in this conversation, right? I could, right? Would you use the OnePlus 13?
Well, now you're talking about a different price point.
Right. So well, I'm just talking about experience and the best that company has to offer. I would say the OnePlus 13 falls in some areas, but then there's other areas in which it excels. First of all,
you could say the same thing as what Andrew said there. Why would you pick an S25 Ultra or a Pixel over the OnePlus 13?
Right.
Based on price and specs. Because the OnePlus 13 is much cheaper and has most of the specs there, doesn't it? So
right. And it charges way faster. It has a different experience. And again, I like Andrew's question. Why I would buy the Pixel over S25 Ultra? Because I know when I buy a Pixel, I've used the 9 Pro XL enough to know, and I'm used to it, and I kind of know it's, I hadn't had a Samsung since the Fold 5, and again, maybe it's because of Samsung. There's all these features that I just don't dive into. Like it's like overwhelming sometimes. Like, oh, you could do all that, and I do go on people's websites. And I do watch videos like Haley's World, right? She does she
does some really good stuff. Yeah.
She does really good stuff. I like, and also just like the way she just
moved into her first home, by the way.
Okay, cool. I just like
as if she listens.
Yeah, she does. But I like the way, I just like the format. It's kind of like I don't know how to say this without being dismissive but it almost feels like watching a kid's show dance party. It's like, it's just energetic and fun. It's like, okay, well, great. Here's how you do it. And it makes this transition. Here's how you do the thing, right? And then, number 4, leading on to this. And it's constantly, there's not like this.
She's very entertaining.
It's entertaining. It's fun to watch. I think she clearly is European. I don't where she's from. I don't know if she's Dutch or she's from Finland. I don't know.
European? I think she's probably Eastern European.
I don't know if it's Eastern European. It almost sounds like Finnish or Swedish or something like that. Anyway, maybe. I think it's a lot of fun, and she does it really good. So she'll sit there and go, "Okay, here's how you do this." And I find myself on Samsung devices always really having to kind of go into these deep dive videos just to kind of go, "How do I use the thing?" I just noticed it on the dialer, that feature to the text message to do the AI call screening. There was one extra step, whereas on the Pixel, it was the button was actually, maybe German, possibly. Could be German or Polish. Yeah, right. It could be Austrian. I don't know. But anyways, I like her channel. I think she's a lot of fun. But I notice when I have a Samsung device, it seems like I'm watching more of those kind of videos just to kind of figure out all the things that my Samsung device can do. And it's amazing. And I after, so I've had it 2 weeks now. I don't know, maybe 20 days. I'm happy with it. I do really wish I could check out the Pixel, the Fold 10, but I don't feel like if I never get to use it, I don't feel like, well, I'm asked out because I'm stuck using the Fold 7, right? I actually feel that I feel
happy with your choice, though, right?
I'm happy with my choice, and I'm used to it, and I remember getting back into the Samsung. So basically to kind of get back to Andrew's point, yeah, based on specs and price. And if I haven't used an Ultra since the 22, and I really like that phone.
Mm-hmm.
I do say that I think I like the design. I don't know if I'm really a fan of that pill on the back of the. Now it's great because then it doesn't wobble, and clearly on the on the Fold 7, there's wobble, and then there's this wobble. This thing is ridiculous. It sucks. It just sucks. I'm not a big fan of the pill. I actually like the visor of the 6 and 7 more than I like the pill.
This is great, right? And this is my answer for you now, Andrew, because if anyone's moving from an iPhone to an Android device, I'll always recommend. Actually, this may have changed slightly recently. I always used to recommend Pixel. Always, because I think that's the closest in clean software sort of experience.
But it's more Pixel. It's more iPhone adjacent kind of setup, hardware, software. It feels like it's not as jarring.
They're like targeting similar customers in a sense. So I think if you're going to get your first Android device from iPhone, make it Pixel. Yeah. Although Andrew's in the UK, so he has got the option of Honor, and Honor from an iPhone is a good transition as well, because Honor as standard don't have the app drawer. You have to add that if you want it. So it's very much like an iPhone, and your notifications and your panel for your covering in my thing is separate basically. I know Samsung do that now though. Right. So it's very much like an iPhone there as well. So I would recommend, if you're going to go from iPhone to an Android device, Pixel or Honor, I'd say. Yeah. Samsung are great.
And if you really like that, then then if you want to kind of get more of an Android feel, but definitely a company's take on what they feel Android can or should be, that is where, if you, especially like I would agree with him. I would say and Andrew, and now that I have a little bit more context about what you're dealing with, I would agree with Joe. I would say I'm not saying if you go to the Samsung, I don't think you lose. I think that transition gets a little. I think it's a little bit more jarring.
More of a learning curve. Yeah.
I think so. And especially learning. I mean, hell, I've been using Android for forever, and I still feel like I have a learning curve with Samsungs. When I had the Pixel, it seemed like everything that I needed to use or did use was already available. I didn't have to toggle much, and it didn't seem like a lot to get into. When you go into Samsung's menu, it's like overloaded with all these features. Like, holy shit, I'm not going to use any of this stuff.
Features within features, menus within menus, and it's
right. It's really granular, and you can get really in the weeds big time,
which is great.
It's just great if you're a seasoned Android guy, or if you've had a couple Pixels and you go, I want to see what Honor does. I want to see what OnePlus does. I want to see what other OEMs do. Then I think that's the way it goes. But I think if you're going straight from an iPhone, I would say the Pixel is definitely the way to go. And I think you don't even have to go with the 10 Pro XL. I think you can go, hell, you could probably go with save a little bit of money and go with the 9 Pro XL or 9 Pro and be just as good.
Yeah, if you want to save money, 9 Pro XL or 9 Pro.
But definitely. Also, if you're coming from an iPhone, you're kind of used to MagSafe, and now the 10 Pro and the 10 Pro XL are more.
Snap. Good point.
Yeah, now you got Pixel Snap. Now you're like, well, shit, and chances are probably most of the MagSafe stuff probably work, right? So you can like whatever. Yeah, so that you don't even have to change out hardware. You say, I'm used to MagSafe. I think MagSafe's great.
I saw a picture today on X. There's a Pixel Snap thing on an iPhone.
Right. Do it. It's all the same. It's just a goddamn magnet. I know it doesn't look right. Again, and so I would agree. I think Andrew Pixel's the way to go, and I don't think you're going to be. And again, if you're coming from an iPhone, you're kind of used to not really having a whole lot of control of the customization of the device, right? Pixel doesn't let you do any of that kind of stuff. It's really kind of iPhone-esque. It's the most iPhone.
And another thing,
software-wise, not UI, because that's Chinese brands. I mean, Xiaomi especially. If you want to look at something that looks just like an iPhone, go look at Oppo or some like Vivo or some of those brands. They practically identically start as UI UX aesthetics look practically like an iPhone. I think the software delivery and the software capability and the features that they allow you to do and have locked down are very iPhone-esque. It's literally the iPhone side of Google. That's of Android. It's just what it is. So
Yeah,
I
because
agree.
people say Samsung, but I actually think Google is
No,
more.
I think Google is, especially if you're
It's
coming
the
from an
Apple
iPhone.
of, yeah.
The
I
only
think
thing that
so.
gives you, the only thing is what's nice
Samsung
about
ecosystem is like the
Samsung
tab
ecosystem is huge.
and
Don't even sleep on that. But two, they have more form factors because they do have a flip. So for people who want to get into a flip, Google doesn't make a flip, which I've been saying this for years. I think that's a miss on Google's part. I think it's just a miss. I think Google, and same thing with Motorola. I realize they have a different kind of manufacturing budget. They're not not huger. That's not even a word. A big company. And I realize they don't have a fold, but man, if they made a Razor Fold, I would totally try that out. Could totally try that out. And with Google, you don't have a flip, right? So if you're going to go into that flip style, but if you're going, slab phone to slab phone, totally, I would argue that I think, in my opinion, Pixel is the way to go if you're coming from an iPhone.
yeah.
At least to get inside. And when you get in the door and you get some experience and you really like the Pixel, then you become a Pixel fan. Cool, good deal. There's going to be one. You're well served, right? However, if you're
Andrew.
like, I want to do like Motorola and maybe have a Razor or try a foldable or a different
Question for Andrew is: if he's in the UK, what network's he with? Because as you know, O2 have switch up. So
not sponsored by O2.
Not sponsored by O2, and I'm not saying it because it's
because you could have EE or
you
or
can have
whatever.
any network, but this proposition is really good. So what they do, a switch up plan, you can keep the device for 90 days. Anytime after that, if you've kept it in good condition, you can hand it back, clear the contract down, and start a new one. Right. So with that, you could try a Pixel for 3 months. Then you think, I liked it, but let's try an Honor or let's try a Samsung. Another 3 months, try vice versa. So it's a really good proposition if you're not sure what phone you want to go for and you want to try different devices. And you can easily go back to an iPhone as well.
He's with Smarty.
Smarty. So that's a MVNO. I can't remember what network they use. But worth considering going to O2 for switch up if you're looking to change different devices.
Especially if you're trying to get like a feel for the options you might have. Because remember, if you don't, then you get a Pixel, you might be stuck with it for a year or whatever. And again, is not a bad. And honestly, I will say this is the only thing I have against something like that. I think what happens is with anybody switching operating systems, like especially if you're going like from a Windows to a Mac or vice versa, people go, well, it's been 2 weeks. I haven't figured this out. I hate it. I'm not doing it. It takes way longer to unlearn all the muscle memory, all the UI UX components, functionality. You got to give it a chance. Now I would say after 6 months, if you're still fighting the UI, fighting the functions, don't like it, well, then I'm thinking, okay, maybe this isn't your jam. But I've seen so many people, and not just in phone space. I've seen them in PC, right? They come from a PC, they get a Mac, and they go. And I had a problem with Mac. I couldn't figure out how to install a program, I didn't like it. But this is, again, years and years ago. However, we have a Costco, and every time you walk in, they have TVs. So, of course, they've got these. They're ridiculous. 98-inch. Stupid. I'm like, dude, I don't need that in my life. I mean, sure, I would like it, but whatever. But then they go around, there's like the Macs and the Surface computers, right? PCs and shit. And I remember one day Becky was doing something. She walked away. She was looking at something. I was standing there for like maybe 5 or 10 minutes. Just kind of messing around with the Macs. I was like, man, these are slick. I kind of don't know what I'm doing, but these are kind of nice, man. The screens are bright. I like the UI. I'm like, this, I can understand why people use Macs. I get it, man. It's pretty cool. Yeah. Would I switch to them? I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. I haven't really thought about it that much. But
I could try one for 90 days.
If somebody would give me a Mac and let me try it for 6 months and like use that and like force myself to use that and not go back to my PC and try to see, I bet you I could. Well, I mean, I should be.
Out of interest,
I'm a tech professional, so yeah.
So as far as I know, all the UK networks give you a 14-day calling off period, right?
Yeah, they do.
Same in the US, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So remember, you do have that as well, Andrew. So,
but the problem with that is 14 days is not enough time.
Not long enough,
especially if you're switching from a new OS. I'm sorry, 14 days is not a long time.
Not really long enough. No.
I don't think so. So yeah, so try that out, or if you have the capability and trying out O2 or maybe other carriers that are major carriers in the UK, maybe they offer stuff. I don't know. And he says it's on Three's network. So okay, it's part of Three. Okay. Well, go to 3Popper and see, or maybe Smarty can do something like that or whatever. And then even if you don't,
they don't.
and if they don't, then guess what? Then you get the Pixel or the Honor and you try that out and you may be stuck with it for 6 months or a year and then you can upgrade or sell.
I always recommend to people, if they want to test a network, is get one of their pay-as-you-go sims and check that in your area. And then see how it goes.
He's gonna look up switch up. So yeah, just do some research. Just remember, just like anything else, like I do, always try to take some time and do some research on networks and phones and everything else. Take some time. Don't make a decision hastily. You don't have to do that.
It needs to work for you in your area, definitely.
So yeah, and Joe A asked me a question up here about food. What's my favorite meals? Anything that somebody else cooks for me? No, I'm just kidding. I do my own fair share of cooking. No, I like all sorts. I mean, I guess not meals. It's more to me cuisine. So obviously Italian, but I like Greek food. I like anything. I like seafood. There's not a lot of stuff I don't like. Yeah. I mean, my favorite meals, I do like.
You see food, you eat food.
I have a seafood diet, right? I see it, need it. I will tell you, fun. There was, and I can't remember if it was Shane Craig. Somebody suggested an app. Oh, I think it was on a TikTok. It used to be on iOS only. It's called Recipe.
I love TikTok.
I do because I get the girls send me stuff constantly, videos and shit. It's just funny. I've never posted anything, and we do have a Nomad Tech Project TikTok page. Don't be surprised if you go on it and it doesn't have anything because we haven't done anything with it. I've never made a TikTok. I don't that if we're going to make one, it's going to be on that channel. It will not be on my personal.
We should make like segments of our shows. I might go back, old shows and stupid things we've said. I'm going to make videos out.
We might try to do all that, and stuff like that. So we'll see how that goes. But so we have a TikTok anyway. It was an app called Recipe, and Becky and I use that a lot. We've used apps to try to like make it. It builds menus, but also saves all your stuff. But also what it does is it creates grocery lists on those items, which is kind of nice. But the problem is she had an iPhone. I had obviously an Android, and we had the app that she was using was called Mealboard. There wasn't a proper, we couldn't get it to work. So Recipe works on both devices. So, and it's real time. So we can both be logged in, and now we don't have to worry about it. And you can import meals, you can share meals, you can you go to a website that has a recipe. It's really great. So if anybody's looking for something like, not only for shopping, it's called Recipe. It's expensive though. It's $60 a year. But after we used it, and now for Becky and I, we can just make meals and make lists, and just like we can see in real time. I can log into the same account, same app, same.
Is it like an AI type thing? So it recommends like this is the ingredients I've got. You could make this.
You could. I don't know if it has that, and they do have a function that says it's in development, which is like a meal planner. So if you say I want to have a certain calorie level, or I want to try to have a Mediterranean diet, or I want to try to.
So you can't say this is the contents of my fridge right now.
Right. I don't think it has anything. It's more just like a recipe aggregator meal plan based on that.
Yeah.
Which is kind of nice because which is great because I used to use an app on the web online called nudes.io. That was great, but the interface is kind of clunky and you had to log in every time. Nudes, Noods.
You shouldn't tell people about them sites you go on.
Yeah. No, it's not NUDES. That's different. That's your problem.
Oh,
it was what was nice was it was a real basic website, simple HTML, and it was clean. And you could take like recipes, like if you're looking like a Food Network or whatever, you could strip the URL and then you could bring it in. It would just strip out all the ads and just give you the recipe, like the list. But what's cool was you could change portions. So like say it was a meal for 5 or 6, but you needed only for 2. You could change it to 2, and it would scale down the portions of the ingredients real time, which was kind of cool. And it does this on the other thing we have, this recipe. The only thing that's nice is that there's an Android and iOS app, and they're real time. So when she's adding stuff, I can add stuff. It's really good. So favorite meal.
Stop digging.
Yeah, my ear itches. I had an itch. I'm pointing at my brain. Anyway, so
and the problem I would have with that app is I'd like do it for 3 people because I'm a fat bastard like that.
Right.
And I just I need to go on a diet.
Oh yeah, well, no, that's cool. I mean, as I'm getting older, I'm having problems. I used to be able to remember things all sorts of ways. Now I kind of forget. Like I'm starting to lose it a little bit. So I'm getting older. So I appreciate anything we can do to kind of help anybody. If listening to their shows.
When I met you, mate.
I know. Now it's been a while. That's probably what happens. That's why my beard is grayed out because it's all the years of dealing with Joe. I'm just
Joe, yeah.
Yeah. So he's still salty about Gooch. Oh yeah, the SIM card slot. Yeah, I don't like that.
Not in the UK, mate. But
well,
yeah,
well, and the problem is that also the UK was the reason why that honestly, because of the EU and their mandate, that's the reason why iOS had to go to a USB-C standard. I guarantee that if the EU did not do that with the Lightning cable thing, we'd still have Lightning in the United States. And thank God we got rid of that. But the eSIM, yeah, that just blows. It sucks. I don't like it.
It shouldn't be forced. You should have options.
Right. Especially in the situation concerning the fact that you like on this phone, I do have an actual on the fold. There is an actual SIM card.
Question quickly, right?
And I do have eSIM in it.
Do you think it's driven by networks or driven by Apple and Google?
I think it's driven by probably both. I think because that's one less component. That's one less thing they got to mess with, right? They don't have to have worry about
cost saving, isn't it? For the
saves money, and from the network's perspective, it makes it easier because, it's to switch. It's to switch phones is hard, and it's like I think
that's saving on the plastic,
right? They don't have to worry about if you have a damaged SIM, they don't care. It's one less thing. It's all on the device. I don't like eSIM. I have it on my Fold 7, which kind of sucks, and I haven't tried to switch it off yet because I haven't had a device yet to try to switch it off on. Yeah. But honestly, then again, this is one of those things. Is I understand, and I understand why they don't do it in the EU or UK, which is fine. I'm happy. Thank God somebody is holding the fort down on the physical SIM. Right? I'm glad it's the EU or UK. However, realize that most people, when they're upgrading their phones, they are not switching after a year. And if they are switching, they're going into their carrier store, they're trading in the iPhone 14 Pro Max or their iPhone SE or whatever, and they're getting, like Becky's had eSIM on her phone, right? We set it up that one day. It took like an hour. It was a little dodgy, but it seemed like it worked in AT&T. But for Becky doesn't care that it's an eSIM.
No.
And most people don't care that it's an eSIM because their phone works. They're not switching phones. Yeah. And when they do, they're going to switch into another phone. They're going to transfer that one to the other IMEI, and they're going to do either through a carrier store or even on their own at home. Like we did. When they sent us the phone home, we still had our 12, right? We swapped all the stuff, made sure it was all good. And then we activated the network, disconnected the 12, physical SIM in the 12, disconnected it, eSIM. It took like an hour and a half before it finally decided to work, which kind of was a little nerve-wracking. Yeah, that was unusual. And then it works. And since then, that was what, a year and a half ago? She don't give a shit.
Yeah,
careless.
A lot of people that don't change phone often. It's not an issue. Right. It's a non-issue.
No,
it is an issue if you change phone often.
Right.
That's why for me, I prefer physical. That's
the custom ROMs and downloading. Well, and here's the thing. I feel I agree that the bootloader unlocking, I agree, and they should allow you to do those kind of things. I know they're locking that down. Again, when was the last time you flashed a custom ROM on a phone that was less than 3 years old? I used to, and dude, trust me, I'm here to tell you, I'm about that life, Michael. I totally am down with everything you're saying. I totally get all that. I have not flashed a ROM on a phone in probably 5 years. I don't have an old enough phone. No, I do. I did have an old. Well, it's funny. I still have. I gotta find. I think it's back to my drawer, right? I think it's. Oh yeah, I still have it. See, I still have. Look at that.
Nexus. Is that the
my old Nexus 7 2013?
Yeah. I had one of them.
Yeah, dude, it's great. I mean, first of all, it was back then. It was, but it's just funny. So, I mean, as you can see, bootloader is locked, unlock bootloader, right? But what happens when I boot it up? I had never ever flashed an OS on it. So when it comes up, the bootloader is probably going to come up and it'll say no OS found, or it just sits like this. I never bothered to put Lineage back on it. I was trying to mess with the ROM and I just let it die. But this is the last device I even tried to mess with a custom ROM or boot ROM or whatever. Now I know you could do that, right? You could go and you can go buy a Pixel and put Graphene OS and all these other kind of things on it, or there's still Lineage, right? That's still out there, and I still do have custom ROMs, but nobody's doing that stuff anymore. They just aren't, and here's the thing. Here's the thing. It's sad. It drives me crazy because if you were a guy that used to do all that, man, it was kind of cool. Like that was kind of my jam back in the day. As you can see, since there's no OS, nothing's booting up because I didn't flash an OS on it. But it's cool. but I get it. I mean, I 100% agree with you, man. I mean, it's just disappointing because that was really, I thought that was the fun thing about Google back in the day. If you were that kind of guy, you could sit there and really go crazy. Yeah, and then also if a carrier, you could flash a bunch of crap. You could, change radios. You could do all sorts of stuff. You can change functionality. It was a really cool thing to do, and it just sucks that they're taking it away, and I don't like it. Smash burger, spaghetti bolognese, yeah. Let's see. Last federal judge told Google they're a monopolist and trying to respond to breaking news. Yeah, well, I mean, and that's when, and I guess it's the only thing. Link the app. I can't, oh yeah,
Jimmy's hinting for us to end.
Oh yeah, he's probably telling us, dude, I'm tired of you guys. Let's see.
In a polite way.
Let me try to do that. I've never actually tried. I'm glad he's asking because I've never even tried to do this on this app. I'm going to try to do it from here. He said the rest of me. I think he said he wants a link.
Yeah, he's gone now. You're a bit behind the chat, mate.
Well, what else?
Add it in the show notes, maybe.
Yeah. Trying to find out where. Oh, here he is. Share. Here we go. Here we go. I know. I'm going to put it in the show. I'm not going to put it. I'm going to forget the show notes. I might. Maybe we should go back to like doing one of the apps we like. You know what I mean? Or the app of the week. Here is the actual link. I don't know if anybody can do that. But there you go. That's the app. I will put it in the show notes though. It's called Resame, and it's on iOS as well. That's why we like it, because Becky and I both can use it. So hey, my man Simon's in the chat. Oh yeah, I was gonna say real quick. Yesterday I was in I joined late. J Will and Grant Does Tech were having an interesting discussion about stuff. I kind of caught them back, and Simon was in there too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was a pretty good conversation. I don't know if I had not necessarily 100% agree with all the takes that Grant was bringing. I do respect Grant. I'm glad he had the conversation, but I just, we were talking about.
I like Grant. Yeah.
Yeah, he seemed like a good dude, and
he's going to the summit this year.
Yeah, it was a good talk. I was like, I was engaging a little bit, which is normally something I don't do. And again, I got the last like 10 or 15 minutes of the show, but it was like good. I know Simon was on there too, so it was good seeing him there. And they were just having a live stream. I think it was on Friday evening, Friday afternoon. It was YouTube. It was YouTube. It was a good conversation. Okay. And it was, again, different. Yeah, different opinions can be good, even if it's something I disagree with. I still like the conversation. I'll let anyone. I will challenge anyone, and I will let anyone challenge me. And I like having those discussions because it really kind of expands. Agree. Well, yeah, and it kind of expands your. It gives you a chance to hear somebody else's approach to how they see the same tech that you see, and I love that stuff because you can never really grow if you live in an echo chamber. Yeah, if you live in an echo chamber, you can't really grow and develop as a person. You nearly just live on your own world, and you go, well, I just see it the way I see it. And well, I mean, that might be great, but that's kind of, I don't know. It's kind of closed-minded. I don't like that. What color? Oh, looks like Simon got the gold black V5. Gold black. Is that a color? Chris said he got the gold black V5, and then Simon says, "Oh, nice one! I got mine ordered mine Saturday."
Oh, nice.
So is gold black a color?
I don't know. I didn't know it was. I think Chris he's confused us.
Dust gold.
Yeah, I think it's meant to be dust gold.
Okay.
Or was it? I thought it was called dawn gold.
I have no idea. I didn't watch the event, but it was cool. Let's talk about that. So you finally got to meet.
It's dust gold. It's dust gold. That is
okay.
And Sam, it is beautiful. It is
very, and like I said, he got dawn gold. I guess it's a different color.
There's 4 colors.
Okay.
There's 4 colors. Yeah, there's a reddy one as well. I lost it a long time ago, Chris. Don't worry, mate.
Yeah.
Me and Sam lost it a long time ago.
I just think it's funny that there's one called Dawn Gold and Dusk Gold, and I
don't think there is 2. No, there's one. There's one. I need to clarify now what it is for everyone.
Okay. Well, it's funny because if there is a Dawn and a Dusk Gold, that would be funny because it reminds me of the show we're watching called Foundation, and the 3 emperors are Day,
it's Dawn,
Dawn, Day, and Dusk. Like they're at different stages of their lives, right? It's kind of interesting. So so that's cool.
Dawn Gold, Ivory White, and black in the UK, but there is also I'm sure there's a
Red,
red
wait,
one.
there's a red one. He said it's, and he says it is, but it's China only.
Is it China? Oh, okay, that makes sense because I'm on the UK site. So
If you want the red one, it's so beautiful, but it's China. Only in China. That's all they do. It's just the red. You got to deal with it. Maybe green. We'll do green one day.
One thing I heard was
China red. How funny is that, though?
Sam, there's a few grumblings about the price because it's 1699 in the UK,
Woo!
right? Which is
Same
as the Fold, right? Same
right,
as the
it's
Fold.
steep.
But
they're all steep.
do you know what the offer is now? If you buy it right now, you get it for 1399 with a load of freebies, including the Magic Pen that you can use on both screens.
Damn.
Now that's not bad.
Fuck no. It's, first of all, 300 quid less, and you get extra shit. That's pretty good. He said 1399.
A 66 watt charger.
And I think that's and Simon, if you can confirm, is that the deal you jumped in on? Is that what you got? Because that's pretty cool. That's incredible. $300 less. Yeah.
12 month. You get screen protection on inner and outer. A 12-month one-time fix. So if it does fail in that first year,
plus 60 watt charger, Magic Pen, 1 year insurance on inner and outer screen. That's cool for $300 less. That's a slick deal. That's pretty good.
And I think you'll find Honor will do them types of things throughout the year until they every now and again they'll
just have a little like a flash sale or a little discount deal or whatever. And I just funny, not a political thing. I just think it's kind of funny that it's red in China only. Just I don't know. Just put it out there.
It's almost like a brownie red though. It's
I know, but it's still red, and it's China. I'm just putting it out there.
Well, you know why there's no V4, right? Don't you?
Huh?
You know
why there's V4?
Yeah, because in Cantonese the 4 is very similar to deaf or something like that.
Oh,
the word.
Well, that makes sense. I guess.
That's why Chinese OEMs don't have the number 4.
Oh, I did not know that.
4, didn't they?
Oh yeah, they never had a 4. They had a 3T and then the 5.
Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense. I didn't know that. That's kind of cool. There you go. There's your little fun fact for the day, folks. So there's a cultural thing you didn't know, right? I had no idea that was a thing.
Rubbish, me.
I never thought about it because and now that I think about it, I've had Xiaomi phones and stuff, and I'm like, I don't remember them ever being a 4 of any of those. Yeah, it's probably unlocked. It's like the reason why a lot of I don't know if they do this in the UK, but a lot of buildings in the United States they don't have a 13th floor in buildings because it's unlucky. And here's another fun fact. There's only we have social security numbers. I don't know if they have a proper analog in the UK for something like that. There's only 2 formats because they're 9 digits, like 3, 2, and 4, right? That's the digit format. There's only 2 number formats that don't exist. 000, so nobody's social starts with 000, and 666.
Well, that's obvious why that one.
Right. I think it's hilarious because that's the only 2 social security number. Also, company, company. There's no company identifiers that start with 666, which is kind of interesting. It's stuff like that. So I guess that makes sense. If 4 is a death or an unlucky number in China, why they would skip it because they probably would not have when anybody would buy the phone.
Wouldn't market well, yeah.
Americans will because we're like it's just a 4. We don't know anything different. But that I did not know that. That's really cool. There you go, folks. If anybody didn't know why they don't have Chinese phones don't have a 4 of any of their versioning, now you know. There you go, folks. That's all cool. Press.
That was my sticker I had on.
Every time I see a press thing like that, it reminds me of the Three Stooges bit where they were getting into a thing and he had the little buttons and they were taking it off of like a turnstile, whatever. It's a press. It's the word said press. It was like a little button. And so Mo goes press and it says press, right? And then Larry says press. And then Curly has what it says pull. And it's the word says pull. He goes, hey, so you can see he's clearly holding like a lever that he stole out of a machine. He's like, no, you pull. Every time I see the press, it just makes me think of that stupid.
Well, there's an old sketch where the guy's pulling the door, he pushes the door, and he goes into a cafe, and the server comes up, and the name's Pat. He's got like quite nice boobs, and then next minute you just see him running out, chasing him.
So, but yeah, that's kind of cool. So, I mean, and you've got the Honor, but you haven't really put it through its paces yet, right? So,
no, well, I got it Friday while I was at work, so I had to wait till I finished work because got home, had dinner, you know, the usual. Filmed my unboxing and started editing Friday night. Had work Saturday. Finally got it edited, ready to launch today.
Post. Yeah,
But,
I did see it post, but we were out with the dogs and stuff, so I didn't see.
So it's on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. If you care for unboxing, some people don't. I thought it was quite cool what I did.
I think I like unboxings; they're kind of fun to watch. Everybody does them and stuff.
I make them shorts. I never do unboxings as a long video.
I think anything over 5 minutes is probably for unboxing is a little
it's under 2 minutes. Under 2 minutes.
Now, if you're going to go into that and then talk into a review and do hardware and turn it on and kind of go there, then fine. But if you're just doing the unboxing part, yeah. And I'm curious to see. And you're I wonder, are you still using the other Honor?
So it's in the Magic 7 Pro at the moment still.
Right. So is it real easy to like, since it's an Honor device you're going to be moving to? Is it like that easy or?
Which is really quite good. So Honor to Honor is very easy, but Honor to any device is quite good. Phone clone's good. It's like their version of what's Samsung's. Why has that gone from my head now? I use it all. Smart Switch.
Oh yeah, for Samsung, yeah, Smart Switch.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to do a live stream on YouTube, but I guess they did an Arabic live stream 2 weeks earlier. Oh, okay. Yeah, and then Joe, yeah. So Simon says he checked out the unboxing and liked it. I think it's good. I haven't had a chance to watch it, so check that out. Remember that Screen on Time YT. Check that out. I do not have a YouTube channel because I'm not going to review phones because I'm not doing that. I might do an unboxing.
I still think you could do like a Tech Odyssey style thing where you just say some commentary on your thoughts. But
yeah, I could try to do that.
I'm fine with you saving it for the show.
Right. Because I'd have nothing. I would just sit here and go, well, you could just watch the goddamn video. But it's funny because I could say that and then nobody would watch this shit or they'd listen to that video. They would just ignore it all. So, I guess that's probably fair. That's cool. So, we'll check that out. And like I said, Chris, let us know how your schedule works. If you want to come on the show, I know Jimmy's going to want to come on. We might see if we can get him on too. And then we're kind of due to have Juan on. I have to reach out to Juan Carlos, but I know because at some point we have to change seasons. And we kind of, that's our thing.
Episode 44, is it?
Who knows, man? I haven't reached out to Juan. And the problem is, I know he gets really busy. So, but I am going to reach out to Juan and try to get him on because that's kind of like our last show usually is TK. And then our next show for the next season would be Juan. I haven't reached out to either one. I know they're extraordinarily busy. And that's another thing with having guests on, especially people who are, you met him. So how did that go?
Finally. Oh, it was great. We saw when like Chris actually said to me that TK was there. Like Chris tapped me on the back and goes, Joe. And I was like, oh, great to see Chris. I've known him on different socials and that. And we got talking. He goes, yeah, TK's here. And I was like, shut up. TK, bloody hell. Like all these years, I finally got to meet him because we was at Unpacked in 2024. Right. But we didn't cross paths.
What's a large event? Yeah, that's hard enough.
I managed to have a good hug with him. Hello, get a selfie, have a chat. It was great.
Yeah, it was good. I saw it
by my height.
I saw the picture. It was really, really good. Yeah, I know. I think he's a little taller than Juan, but I thought he was taller. Like I don't know. You never. That's the problem when you're sitting people in these. I'm right at 6 foot. Right, I'm right at 6 foot, and I don't know what. I don't know what that. And so
I'm 6 foot.
Yeah, so we're about the same height. So it's funny, but and then Adam's actually a little tall. I think he's 6'1" or so. At least my height might be at 6'1". So he's about
a bit taller.
But it's just funny because you always see people from this perspective, and you can't really tell. They could be 5'8", they could be 6'6". I mean, another thing is I didn't know how tall Matt was. Matt was almost 6'5". And I never knew that and then we never met each other in person.
That's like
Matt Paul's very tall. Yeah,
he's very tall, and Mac.
Right. And Mac's just a big dude. He's not just tall. He's just a big dude, man. Yeah. That's all those pierogies. Yeah. It's all that Polish food, man. He's the dude. Max looks like a solid guy. But yeah, it's funny when you finally meet people in person, you don't really tell how tall they are because they're not standing next to something you can kind of get an idea on how tall or whatever they are. So it's good.
Confirm, but TK is the great guy that you see in all his videos. He's the same great guy in person.
And he looks like he's going to be at ETHA next week, so that's coming up. So yeah,
he always is, isn't he?
Yeah, he goes there all the time. I think that's one of his main things he goes to. So it's good. It's good you finally got to meet. So now you met TK. I got to meet Adam Dowd. So it's kind of cool. We're starting to run into folks, and it was really a good time. So I'm glad to you got a chance to meet him, and I had no doubt that TK was going to be every bit as genuinely the same great dude as he is in person. So that was good. You got a picture with him, got a chance to talk to him for a few minutes. That's awesome. So with that, I think that'll be good where place to close. So today we talked mostly about tech. See, not really crazy. We stayed on the phones. There's a lot to talk about.
Plug before we go though. Tomorrow I'm recording my first episode of PSC with Ted. So
that's right. And that's another thing you need. So folks, if you're listening, you obviously you've been paying attention. Joe's going to be filling in for the recently retired Steve Litchfield. So check that out. Obviously, if you don't have the link, it's not hard to find. We are looking forward to it. I know for me, I'm excited as all hell for you. I think it's fantastic. First of all, that PSC is continuing, right? So that's cool. And after meeting Ted, he's a properly awesome dude. I like Ted a lot.
Yeah, Ted Sam's a great chap.
Really nice guy. I really like Ted a lot. And it's going to be great because it continues, but it continues with somebody that I care about, who I've worked with for years. And it's kind of like, to me, it feels like that's the way the show, if the phone show chat was going to continue in some iteration, having Joe there filling that spot was where it belongs. It just belongs. It doesn't feel wrong. It feels like it's a way it should be. So I'm excited. And folks, if you are watching this stream, you need to go ahead and put that in your podcast aggregate, get that phone show chat. If you haven't been listening, like Chris hasn't listened in a while, you might want to start listening because Joe and Ted are going to bring some good stuff. I really think they're going to bring a different kind of energy. It'll be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it. And that is recording tomorrow. So, and then I obviously is recording tomorrow, but it will not be broad when it usually posted.
I guess Ted would try and get it out probably the next day. I don't know.
Okay.
Not actually discussed that with him, to be fair. I'm quite chilled out. Just like me and you. I think Ted's quite chilled out about things.
Right. Yep. Last time we saw was in 2019. Yeah. So yeah, it's Steve retired. So Joe's filling in. Can't replace Steve, but definitely
can't replace
show
Steve.
Chat. Phone show chat is continuing in a different iteration, and we're here for it. So you should check that out. And if you haven't saved it, get ready for that show when it posts. If you actually follow it, then you'll get notified when it posts, and we'll let everybody know.
If you already listened to PSC, you will need to research for it in your podcatcher.
Right.
It's got a different logo now, but I made a new logo, but I kept it very similar to the original one.
Right. A little bit of a change, just so you know it's a new branding. But yeah, check that out. And we can't wait to listen to it. But I'm excited to listen to the show. I've always been listening to phone show chat for years and years and years. I was lucky enough to be on the phone show chat twice actually, which I can't even imagine. Yeah, which I can't even imagine. They wanted me back a second time. I thought for sure after dealing with me, listening to me, they would be like, this dude. But no, Ted and Steve were always very gracious, and I was actually one of the few times I've actually been on a podcast, and I was absolutely honored and thrilled to do the show. I was okay. I did okay. Obviously they have a lot. Yeah. So it was good. So anyways, check that out. Again, we'll put the link to that in the show notes. I will also find the Rest of Me link because I know people. It's really cool. I mean, even if you don't cook with a significant other, just if you're doing stuff by yourself and you just want to, you see a recipe online and you don't want to have to try to save it or remember a website, you just pull it into this thing and boom, it's really good. It is kind of pricey, but for Becky and I, the functionality, it's worth it. $60 a year. I mean, that's basically the cost of a PS5 game. I mean, for a year, I don't know. I think it's kind of worth it for us.
It's what value you get from it, isn't it?
Right. And I think they have a 7-day free trial. And it's all through the Play Store, so you just basically, you know what I mean? So it's really nice. We've used it already. It's good. So we're looking forward to the phone show chat, Joe's thoughts on the V5 when he gets a chance to use it and kick tires on it. Maybe next week when we come on, we'll have a guest, and he can maybe talk about maybe using the V5, and we'll have some preliminary thoughts, and then maybe get a video. So, and we'll be on next week. So that'll be cool.
We will be.
Starting Tai Chi next week. That's going to be interesting.
Tai Chi?
On Sunday. Yeah, on Sundays. Yeah, Sunday mornings. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it sounded kind of fun. I don't know. I'm going to give it a try. I've been looking forward to doing something like that.
Why not, mate?
So it's Monday mornings from 9 to 10. So I'll be doing that. And it won't interfere with the show. And that's what I'm going to start with next Sunday. But we'll be back on this show probably around the same time, maybe 2 or 3 o'clock. We kind of vary. And we'll do it like that. We'll have a good time. And maybe we can have some more stuff to talk about. Joe can talk about the V5. and whatever other stuff we can kind of come up with or discuss in our world of tech that
I might
keeps it
get
fun.
a Pixel 10 Pro, the smaller one, on my contract as well, just so I can talk about it.
Yeah, sounds good. And I'll give some more thoughts. By that time, I'll have almost a month with the Fold 7. I can tell you right now, I'm very happy I made the purchase. I really missed having a foldable, and I unless something changes miraculously, I just can't see myself going back for quite a while. So, but yeah, I like Samsung. I missed it. But yeah, we'll get back into that next week, and we'll have a chat. And remember, if you like your color of your phone, if you don't, that's cool. Just make sure that if you want to change it up a little bit, extremeskins.co.uk, go check them out.
In your shit.
In your shit. We love their stuff. We should check them out. They always got deals. Pay attention to those. Buy one, get ones. Ship it to you. Proper good customer support, customer service. Unfortunately, I wish I could get the same service from AT&T, but be that as it may, not going to happen. So also coming up soon for me, this is going to affect the show, but not necessarily. NFL season starts Thursday. So Sundays are going to be, I might have a game on in the background. I have the TV ready to go. I might be watching the show. I won't be audio, but that kind of stuff. And so it'll be good times. So good luck to Joe for tomorrow. He'll be fine. He might be a little nervous, but once you get a couple of shows out the way, you'll feel like
we've got a guest tomorrow, Malcolm Bryant, who's part of the movie community. So that
cool.
Should make me feel at ease a bit more as well.
Absolutely. So at the end of the day, that's all right, Ron. We appreciate you hanging out, and he's got the build. Bill's gonna look good this year. So again, NFL season starting soon. So see how it goes. Right, week 1's getting started here pretty soon. But for myself and for Joe, thanks so much for tuning in, listening to the show later, telling your friends and family, and just being a proper great community. We love you guys. Thank you so much for engaging and asking questions, and keep following us every week on this thing we do just for shigs. That's what one of my developers at work, he said. He doesn't say shits and giggles, he calls it shigs. So, shigs.
Like
yeah, twigs, like twigs and shigs. So yeah, we just do it for giggles. So we appreciate you guys coming on. Thanks so much, and we will see you next Sunday on the Nomad Tech Project with Sam and Joe. Take care. See you guys. Love your tech. Don't be a dick.
Don't be.
And we'll catch you next Sunday. Take care.
Bye-bye.